New Orleans coach Tim Floyd has had many opportunities to smile this season, but he has reasons to be concerned today. His All-American center, Urban Johnson, injured his ankle last week, and it kept him out of the shoot-around this morning. Yesterday, Johnson had 15 points, and he collected 9 rebounds to lead the Privateers over Arkansas State. This was a game that featured Rennie Mason's buzzer beater to end the first half. Ralph Willard's Hilltoppers will challenge the nation's 13th ranked team behind the outstanding guard play of Mark Bell and Darnell Mee. It's the championship game of the Sun Belt Tournament coming up next on ESPN. What you're looking at, an aerial view of the Mississippi Coast Coliseum in Biloxi, Mississippi. In fact, if you come out the front door, 200 yards in front of you, you can walk right into the Gulf of Mexico. But inside this building today, the championship of the Sun Belt Conference, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, and the Privateers, number 13th ranked according to AP of the University of New Orleans. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin, and welcome to the Sun Belt Championship. Many people associated with this conference, coaches and administrators alike, think that maybe this is somewhat of a Dangerfield conference. They don't get the respect that they should, but I can promise you, you will see 2 excellent Division I clubs this afternoon. Terry Holland joins me on the telecast. Urban Johnson, although he is hampered by the ankle, he said 2 seconds ago, standing right here, he is going to start. There are 2 other guys on this basketball team that have really turned some heads, particularly ours.
Well, Ron, you're exactly right. Johnson's points and rebounds are important to this basketball team, but the 2 little guys, Rennie Mason and Gerald Williams, are the guys who make this team go. They set the tone defensively, and when they get the basketball, they make things happen for New Orleans.
Well, for Western Kentucky, they're an awfully good basketball team. They've fallen twice to the University of New Orleans, one of those games in double overtime. If you had to say there was a key or keys for them, Terry, to win this championship today, what would it be?
Well, I think you've got to have outstanding guard play against New Orleans. Darnell Mee does a great job scoring. He also leads this team in block shots. He's a great defensive player, but again, the little guy, 5'8" Mark Bell, may be the difference in the game. He has to help Western Kentucky set the tempo for this game.
The chants are beginning in the background for the Privateers and some for Western Kentucky. It's the Sun Belt Championship. Back with the opening tip-off after this.
ESPN's Championship Week is brought to you by the people of Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By the new Subaru Impreza. Go to your local Subaru dealer to find out why it's not just another new car. Subaru, what to drive. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you, friends know when to say when.
Welcome back to Biloxi, Mississippi. Ron Franklin and Terry Holland. And Terry, there's nothing quite like tournament time when you start coming down to March Madness, is there?
Well, crazy things happen at this time of the year, Ron, but it is a lot of fun and great intensity, and college basketball at this time of the year is something special.
Well, as we look into the huddle of the Hilltoppers, let's take a look at the starting lineups in the ball game today. First of all, for the Hilltoppers, Mee, Hall, Brown, Horn, and Mark Bell. He's only 5'8", but we're going to see some small guards today that play much, much larger.
Well, they're certainly going to be a factor in the game. You've got 3 players starting in on these 2 teams that are under 5'9", and that's amazing in today's college game, but they're definitely going to be a factor in the game.
Coach Willard, you saw there just a second ago one of the quickest turnarounds of a Division I program in some time. As we look into the huddle of New Orleans, here is the way the Privateers will start today. Garrett, Simon, Johnson, Mason, and Gerald Williams. Also, you see these 2 guards are only 5'9", but Williams, don't let him put the ball on the floor with a half step on you, because you won't see him again until he scores.
So quick, and in the last game between these 2 teams, he had 27 points, so he's capable of putting big numbers on the board.
Tim Floyd, 5 seasons at New Orleans, and you have to say right off the top, and I mentioned the fact that him along with Ralph Willard at Western Kentucky, 2 of the fine young coaches in all of college basketball.
The job that both of these young men have done at their respective schools is incredible. These are 2 quality basketball teams. We'll see a little bit of a difference in tempo New Orleans would like to play a game that allows them to get the ball inside of their big men. Of course, Western is going to be pressing and scrapping. They're going to make things happen with their defense.
On the outside, number 22, Reggie Garrett, sophomore out of Brandon, Mississippi. But the two guards primarily, young man holding it right now, Rennie Mason, along with Gerald Williams, are the ones who wreak havoc. They look inside for Irvin Johnson, and I'll be anxious to see about his mobility early. Unable to go at the shoot around today. Put back and Simon inside. Melvin Simon, one of the most improved on his privateer club, and has been a huge impact as far as their success this year.
Well, again, they get outstanding play from the middle. Both postmen, Johnson and Simon, scoring in double figures for them. And in the first game between these two teams, those two guys had 46 points. In the second game, only 10 points. So it'll be interesting to see how they play them today.
Brown from outside as they bring him from inside of the post position. He hits an 18-footer and we're tied at 2.
And that may be one of the things you have to do against the New Orleans defense, is to pull those big guys away from the basket. Brian Brown doesn't shoot from the perimeter a great deal, but that may be their game plan, to try to pull the big guys away from the basket.
That's the move I'm talking about right there, and he missed the layup. But Williams, if he gets a half step, regardless of how good you are on defense, he can get you. And New Orleans gets caught in transition, and Brown with a second quick 2.
Well, good look ahead that time by Western, and they've got to do that. If they have to go against the set defense of New Orleans all day long, they're going to have a tough time scoring.
Johnson gets the double team in the corner, turns and calls a timeout. Had no place to go with the basketball.
That's
so
great
Johnson
defense to force a timeout.
18:25 left in his opening half. We'll be back to Biloxi in just a moment. Four to 2. Watch the fast break here and the good look by Bell.
Well, Mark Bell has his head up. He's looking down court, and of course Brian Brown trying to run those big guys. He beats them down the floor for this one.
Coaches love that. Just a minimum number of dribbles. Let him put it on the floor maybe twice, then the long pass, and he scored because Brown didn't have to put it on the floor. 4-2, 18 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in his opening half. Johnson forces it a little bit, but high off the glass and knocks it down. He is a very big body, and those hands are mammoth. Catches it extremely well. And his intimidation just being there, and Horn put up the shot with too much arc and not enough distance. Nice look, Simon on the break, and this time it's the transition game of the Privateers that works well.
And again, you see the quickness of Williams driving the middle and creating the shot for Simon.
Mee rattles it home, his first 2. He got in foul trouble yesterday, had to go to the bench for about 6.5 minutes, and in that length of time, Terry, they only scored 5 points. It is imperative that he stay foul-free for the most part.
And when he came back in the game, he went right to work, Ron, and took control of the game.
Simon with the turnaround jumper. So the big bodies are proving they not only can get it off the glass, that they can score as well, and it's 8-6. One thing you have to understand about New Orleans that makes them extremely tough to prepare for. As their head coach said in the newspaper today, they are comfortable at 50 or they're comfortable at 80, whichever. Whistle and a foul, and it looks as though that Johnson has picked up the violation.
Well, at this stage, Western has actually created the kind of activity they would like. And in this particular case, a good job of driving it to the basket and forcing the foul. But they have created an up and down tempo, but at this time, it looks like New Orleans is very comfortable playing this pace.
Melvin Simon picks up the foul, 32 rather than Irvin Johnson. Melvin, a junior out of Harvey, Louisiana. This has been an Achilles heel of the Hilltoppers, and that is at the free throw line, as Hall missed that first one. The sophomore out of Detroit has not been alone. In fact, yesterday in their semifinal game, they kept the opposing team alive by missing at the free throw line late.
And Ralph Willard was bemoaning the fact that in the 2 games against New Orleans this year, they shot less than 50%, and he feels like they would have won both games had they just shot a decent percentage from the line. He says, I know my youngsters are good free throw shooters. We practice hard at it, but they're not shooting them well in games at this time of the year.
Brown with the foul. The officials in today's ball game, Don Rutledge is the man who made the call. Gerald Boudreau, and check that third name in just a moment.
Well, Western Kentucky's defense is just so aggressive. They're always looking for an opportunity to double team and trap, particularly when the ball goes inside. Look at all the red jerseys around Irvin Johnson there.
Lob pass inside. They get the follow, and this time it's going to be Reggie Garrett. Mike Smith is the third official. Ian Boudreau with the umpires. Don Rutledge is the referee. 10-8. New Orleans on top by 4. Horn drives the middle. Nice penetration. I like this kid. He's only a sophomore, but he's a very heady basketball player. Shows a lot of command for only a sophomore on the floor.
He really does. He sees the floor. He gives him a third penetrator, a third guy who can break the defense down.
Oh, good look, and Simon with the jam.
Excellent execution against a half-court trap that time. New Orleans is well prepared for it. Took the ball to one side, then reversed and attacked. And look at the defense on Mee and Bell.
Hard with the screen, but they couldn't get me free. Up off the glass, unlucky on that one. And the follow, they will score.
How about the little guys? They shoot the perimeter jumper, they drive it in the lane, they rebound the basketball on the offensive boards.
And both number 10s on these two clubs love to try to get their men to post up with them, take them inside. 10-8, 15-30 left in this opening half. Williams from the outside. Dishes it off. Tip. Nice defense inside. Stolen by Western. Darius Hall is the man who took it away. Mark Bell.
Well, again, Western is creating the kind of tempo that they would like, and they are the kind of team that does a great job of stepping into the passing lanes. You saw him that time. Darius Hall stepped right into the lane and picked it up. In this particular case, it's New Orleans knocking the pass loose, but it comes right back to Mark Bell, who buries the jumper. Cephas Bunton into the game right now has played very well against New Orleans. He was 10 for 12 in the 2 games. And of course, that's why he's coming in the game so early. Ralph Willard likes to get players in who play well against certain teams.
Actually, they only played about 8 players against them, but Bunton also is a young fellow who has, the last 10 or 12 games, has turned it up a couple of notches. Pull-up jumper won't go, but look inside at Irvin Johnson.
Well, when you've got Johnson and Simon inside, you can shoot with a lot of confidence, because even if you miss, you know there's a good chance they're going to come up with the offensive rebound.
Knocked away by Garrett, and he will take it the distance for the jam.
And New Orleans is showing that they feel comfortable at this faster tempo.
I think one of the things that the staff from Western understood in watching them in recent games is that as the season has progressed, New Orleans has become far more comfortable with the up-tempo game than a little bit slower as they had been, more deliberate half-court.
And they can change their lineup around to take advantage of that as well. They can go with a smaller lineup if they want to go even quicker. Look at Johnson run the floor. He was out in front of everybody that time.
Pass going to be stolen by me. Put up an air ball just a moment ago, and let's see if he tries to make amends for it. Horn with a three-pointer. Not there, and it's Johnson on the board. Stolen by me.
The play's just a little bit sloppy right now, Ron. I think part of that is the fact that these teams have played 2 tough games already, and it's very hot and humid in here today.
You know, that's an excellent point there. We were standing during the opening of the telecast, realizing it's probably 10 degrees warmer in here than it was for yesterday's 2 semifinal games. Although I think they've turned something on that I feel cooler air than we did a moment ago.
Well, they closed the door and kept that hot air out.
Simon knocks it home, and the 2 big people inside really hammering it home for the Privateers.
Well, again, this is the kind of tempo that Western is used to. Now, the question is, can they keep it up for 40 minutes at this pace? This is a very intense pace.
That is welcome news for the Hilltoppers as Mee knocks home the 3. Not only because it's a 1-point game, but it is a must that they get his offensive output. Lob to Simon, and right there to Johnson, and there's just nothing you can do. They go out to double on Simon, and you can't leave the other fellow alone.
Great interior pass in that time, and the backside rotation just couldn't get down in front of Johnson.
Mee, they leave him alone, and he cans another 3.
But Johnson's only counted 2, and Mee's getting 3 at the other end. Maybe they'll win by doing that.
As a result, we have a tie at 20 apiece with 12:15 left until halftime. And the Western fans, all in red and white, are standing and cheering. Good contingent down here from Western Kentucky.
Straight zone defense this time. 2-3 by Western, but again, watch for them to trap anytime the opportunity's there. Quick hands.
Inside to Johnson. Tip got away from him. Then he came back, got it, and scored.
He's playing extremely well. I thought yesterday he was leaving some of those little turnaround shots like that short because of that ankle injury, but he doesn't look like it's bothering him right now.
Came to the shoot-around this morning, and he told his coach, he said, it's really painful, it's really stiff, and they sent him right over to get therapy, and undoubtedly that has helped. Meade puts it up with the left hand, not there, and Williams on the follow.
And the amazing thing about Western Kentucky is that they're not big, but they've had 40 offensive rebounds in the 2 games between these 2 teams. Now that's 20 a game, and that's a very unusual, but they are very aggressive, and they're excellent athletes. They go after the basketball.
Simon again looks for Johnson.
That's just great high-low action. Earlier they stepped Simon out along the baseline, pulled the defense, kicked it down to Johnson. This time they step him up high to the free throw line and again dump it inside to Johnson.
Horn as Garrett tried to take it away, and Garrett will pick up the foul. It'll be his first and the team's second. So there's a timeout on the floor. 10:55 left in the opening half. We'll be right back. New Orleans 24-22. These are the #1 and #2 seeds in this tournament because here are the final season records in the conference. New Orleans trying to go undefeated. Western 4 losses. Southwest Louisiana, Arkansas State, Arkansas Little Rock, and the other clubs in this league. South Alabama, Lamar, Jacksonville, Louisiana Tech, and Pan Am of Texas. You know, we got to see South Alabama yesterday. They finished off the pace as far as top of the top division in this conference. I was impressed with him. I thought Ronnie Harrell's club looked pretty darn good.
Well, we saw 2 great basketball games yesterday, and we're seeing another one today.
Simon and Johnson both, Terry, off the market, 10 points apiece. Scored all but 4 points for the Privateers in the opening 9.5 minutes of this half. Mee has 8, and Brown has 6 for Western.
Well, you have to wonder if Western will make a defensive adjustment or if they're happy with that since they're playing well right now themselves.
Spin move. Johnson may have gotten a piece of that or enough of an intimidation. Simon came away with a rebound. Garrett will take it the distance, and he walked. Nobody to pass it to as he got suspended. Ralph Willard is up for the firm fist in the air saying, attaboy, good defense. And on the other end of the floor, Tim Floyd is pacing.
Well, Johnson intimidates a lot of shots. He's really not a great shot blocker. He doesn't go after that many, but he intimidates you with his size and the fact that he's always there.
In and out, unlucky on that one. Bell scraps for it, comes back, and he'll score. Button couldn't get the 18-footer to go, but on the long carom, his teammate was there.
And again, the second chance points for Western are going to be critically important. You would think that with their size differential that they would have a hard time getting to the offensive boards, but they do a good job there.
4-1 the turnovers in the early going of this one. One of the things that Tim Floyd talked about at the shoot-around today was the ability of Western to get on the offensive boards.
He was worried about that, and now we see why, because with their quickness, they do get there.
Good hands by both clubs in the feed, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah, Johnson needed to go straight up there. He leaned in, and it was definitely an offensive foul, but it was after he released it, but the ball didn't go in anyway.
Terry, to show you how high he was in the air, watch this. I think he hits the rim with this pass to Simon, doesn't he?
It does hit the rim.
It's his first foul.
And a good job of holding position by Western inside.
13 foul on the Privateers.
2 freshmen in the game now. Mike Fralick and Chris Robinson for Western Kentucky. Ralph Willard likes to substitute, and he thinks that may be to his advantage today in this heat and humidity, playing the 3rd straight game in 3 days.
Horn out of top. He's only a sophomore out of Lexington. High off the glass, score it, and he'll go to the line for a possible 3-point play.
And again, he looks to penetrate. He can dish it off, but he can also score. Not a great perimeter shooter. Good penetration. He keeps his eye on the rim the whole way and makes a shot and draws a foul.
Garrett picked up the foul. That's his second.
Well, that's great for those youngsters. See the way he keeps his eye on the rim, even with the defender coming at him, even after the ball's released.
Thorn is one who has not been encumbered, so to speak, at the free throw line. He's been very good there, and he makes it a three-point play, and it's 27-24. A lead for the Hilltoppers. Williams outside. So far, Williams has not really been a factor in this ballgame, has he?
Well, and he may have to take some perimeter shots to loosen up this defense.
Mason pulls up with the jumper, in and out, won't go. Whistle inside, and that foul is going to be called on Western, and I believe he is pointing at Robinson.
Well, they're battling down low, and of course with those offensive rebounds that New Orleans was able to get early, I'm sure that Ralph Willard said, guys, I don't care what you have to do, keep those guys off the boards, and that was definitely a foul.
Two team fouls on Western. And now New Orleans doing what they did in an earlier ball game, and that is spreading the floor.
Well, right now, Ron, they've got 3 guards in the game. The matchups are not good for Western Kentucky. You can see the size differential. All 3 of these guys out front. Tony Madison's a great three-point shooter, and what they like to do is penetrate and dish to him for 3, or also dish it to the big guys inside.
Madison way outside, not near the mark on that one, and Horn comes down with the rebound for Western.
Well, that's what he's in there for, to take the three-pointer, but that one was a little bit out of even his range, Ron.
On the floor, they battle for it. Western will maintain control as Fredericks, the freshman out of Fredonia, Kentucky.
Well, these two teams are contesting every pass. They're contesting every screen. This is really a battle off the ball.
Darius Hall with the move, and it's going to be called out of bounds, and it'll stay with Western. 19 seconds on the shot clock, and there's a timeout on the floor. 3-point lead by Western Kentucky for the Sun Belt Championship. We'll be back to Biloxi after this. Well, a part of championship week. We call it a week. It lasts 9 days, but that's a week to us. And you see the score in this championship game, 27-24. Western Kentucky in the red and white, leading the Privateers of New Orleans in the blue and white with the red piping by 3. And you know, Terry, this is the highest ranking, the one that came out according to the Associated Press, number 13 in the country by New Orleans. Highest in the history of that school. They've never been at that lofty spot.
Well, this team is for real. With their quickness on the perimeter and their size inside, they're the kind of team that nobody's going to look forward to playing in the NCAA tournament.
Fredericks handles outside. Mason working against him. And now it appears as though New Orleans might be turning up the pressure just a little bit. Suspends with the jumper. Won't go. Tip. Mee tips it and go right back to Fredericks.
Nice little jumper on the baseline with Mike McDonald coming after it. McDonald comes off the bench. He's 6'10", and he blocks a lot of shots.
We mentioned that Bunton has been playing much better the last 10 to 12 games. Now there's a whistle. I don't know if it's a clock problem or what. Shot clock is what the question is.
Well, it's been a long time since New Orleans scored. Maybe they're worried about, is the scoreboard working correctly on their side? I mean, they really need to put some points on the board here to get back in the flow of things. Ever since that last time out, the Western Kentucky defense has done something different because the big guys have not been able to score since that time. They're not sagging as much. They're actually trying to get pressure on the basketball.
What we are now being told is the official discussion is that the shot clock had gone off before Western got that last shot away, and they are taking those 2 points away. That's the reason for the discussion. And the reason that Ralph Willard has this very disgusted look on his face.
Well, again, I didn't hear the buzzer, and I know Ralph didn't hear the buzzer, but they did take an awful lot of time with that possession.
Button was credited with a shot, and now they are taking it off the books. The discussion continues. Don Rutledge, the referee in this one, and he has just been conferring with the official scorer. Okay, you can hear Don Rutledge right here in front of us, nice enough to come over and explain. He said, we did not hear the horn, but it clearly, the clock went off. Williams, the tip by Johnson, that's going to be basket interference.
Well, again, Williams' penetration, though, created the scoring opportunity.
They have not scored, New Orleans, since 11:08 of this first half.
Well, the ball's clearly on the rim there. It hadn't quite come off, and Irvin Johnson a little too quick to get to it. He tried to wait, but it just wouldn't come off. It hung right on the edge of the rim.
So in 2 seconds, the Privateers will have gone 5 minutes in this first half without scoring. Much unlike them and their offensive output, particularly in this tournament. Still a 3-point lead by Western Kentucky. Mee with a three, won't go. Williams comes away with the rebound for the Privateers. Johnson, you can see those eyes are big. It means he wants it. Walk Williams.
Well, a little bit slow getting it into Johnson that time. He had to ask for the basketball, and by the time he got it, the defense had time to react.
Bell will check back into the lineup as Fred will go to the bench. Well, championship week continues on Sunday. The Big 8 Conference or the SEC Championship, 1 o'clock Eastern time, and then it's either the ACC or the Southwest Conference Championship. Then on Sunday, the Big West Conference Championship, 5 o'clock Eastern time. Then the SWAC at 7:30 Eastern time as championship week continues. Johnson with the block there. Bell outside. Can't get it to go, and rebounded by New Orleans. Number 20. This is Lesh. He's a senior out of Harvey, Louisiana. He's coming to the lineup.
And he's played well. He's averaged in double figures against Western Kentucky, and I'm sure that's why Tim Ford's going with him right now. But what
exactly
great
right. He
defense.
had 13 points in that first time they met.
Just great defense there by Western Kentucky. They're taking away the inside game.
Western goes for the tip inside. Lesh on the baseline, and he will come away with it as they trap on him, and a timeout is called by New Orleans. 27-24. Privateers looking for a hoop. We'll be right back after this. The Sun Belt Championship, 27-24. Just under 5 minutes left in this opening half. Ron Franklin along with Terry Holland in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. Coming up on Sunday, NCAA Selection Special. The women's at 12:30 Eastern time, followed by the men's at 6:30 Eastern time. All here on ESPN.
Ron, Western Kentucky in a full court press right now, and particularly with Melvin Simon throwing it in. Once he gets it in, they're going to trap and make him bring the ball up, and instead they get the foul call out of the trap.
And you can see Darius Hall banging his head with his hands because he picks up the foul. It's only the third team foul in Western Kentucky. It's his first, and you look at the shooting percentages. Very good by both teams, Terry, for that matter, 63 and 52%.
In spite of the great defense, and these teams have played some defense since about the 11-minute mark. We had a scoring game up to that point. Since then, defense has dominated the game at both ends of the floor.
Pressure, and Mee will knock it out of bounds. Simon and Johnson with 10 points apiece, and they haven't tallied, have none of the Privateers since 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or 8 seconds, left in this opening half. And right now we have 4:45.
And amazingly enough, Western has done this by gearing up the defense and not helping inside. They're playing the perimeter so tough that they just literally can't get the ball inside to the big guys.
Madison for three. So 4:30.
But let's give New Orleans defense a great deal of credit, too, because in spite of the fact that they haven't been scoring, they were still in this game, only 3 down with a chance to tie it with a three-pointer there by Madison.
Nice look inside, and it is rejected as McDonald has come into the lineup. He is 6'10" as well for New Orleans. Williams drives to the hoop. Too short. McDonald on the follow. He tips it, and he'll get the score. So they take out 1-6-11 and put in a 6-10. By the way, the Privateers went 6-38 without a point.
But again, their defense kept them in the game during that stretch. And you see again their tremendous work on the offensive boards there after the penetration.
Me high off the glass, not there. Nice follow. Boy, that's some super work inside by Chris Robinson. Only a freshman. He's from Macon, Georgia.
Well, anytime you can drive the ball into the lane, you create paths to the basket for your offensive rebounders. And watch, when the shot's taken from the perimeter, it's fairly easy to check your man out. But when somebody breaks the defense down, and as in that case there, and the shot goes up on the glass, the big guys have a chance to get to the boards.
I'll tell you, if you could look at Ralph Woodard right now, he's saying why, and particularly a foul from behind when the guy has already beaten you. Me has picked up the foul.
You want to keep the other team off the free throw line, and particularly if you're as aggressive as Western Kentucky is, you're going to pick up some fouls during the course of the game, but you want those fouls to occur before the shooter leaves the floor to shoot the basketball.
Darren Lesh in the southpaw, well off the mark with that one. First foul on Me as he goes to the bench to get a breather with 3:21 left. 14 fouls, that's all against Western Kentucky.
Well, as you mentioned during the break, Ron, these officials have done an excellent job of letting them play, and both teams are playing very hard, but they're playing very clean basketball.
Madison with the outlet pass. Lesh gets it back to McDonald. Over to Simon on the wing. A little shake and bake, and it cost him an offensive foul.
That was a great move, but it was a little bit too slow for a great defensive player like Darnell Mee. He was waiting for him on the reverse.
Simon, they say, weighs 245. I think he's even larger than that. And when you bump somebody, you're going to send them flying, and that's what happened. Plus, Me gave him a little acting job.
Yeah, he was waiting on it, though. He saw it coming. He saw the reverse coming, and the big guy just couldn't get turned that quickly.
That's 2 fouls on Simon. Under 3 minutes left in this opening half. 30-29. Privateers on top.
When New Orleans plays this 3-2 zone with those small wings, they've got Madison and Williams at the wings. They are vulnerable to backside rebounds.
Brown, and it is rejected by McDonald. McDonald comes off the bench and gets 2 quick blocks. Boy, what kind of duty is that? Tim Floyd has a real luxury in having another big man behind his starter.
Well, and you think about next year, Irvin Johnson's the only senior that's really contributing a great deal to this team, and certainly his points and rebounds are very important, 18+ and 12+ for rebounds. But next year, this is going to be a very good basketball team when Michael McDonald steps into the starting lineup.
They also have a young man who is from Europe named Zalan Baba that they think is going to be awfully good.
Williams is a good three-point shooter, but he doesn't look for his shots very often.
Lesh, as they play actually a little 3-man game, and puts it high up off the glass to score 32-29. Under 2 minutes until halftime. The Sun Belt Championship. Bell deep in the corners. They get the mismatch there, and Simon goes back inside to look at Brown. 1:30.
Well, you can see the New Orleans players pointing out where Darnell Mee is in this zone.
Well, coming up in a halftime, the Reebok halftime report. Unknowns to watch. Cleveland State, the road back. Plus other information about championship week. Tournament time and the NCAA. Simon goes out. He gets a break at 1:16. Johnson is back in, so they have 6-11 and 6-10 sitting in the paint right now. Williams may have gotten away with an offensive foul, and it's McDonald who will jam it home.
And again, once he gets into the lane, good things tend to happen for New Orleans. Either the dish off or the offensive rebound.
Michael McDonald with 4 points. They list him at 6'10". He's out of Longview, Texas. As Terry said, he's a junior, the heir apparent to take over Irvin Johnson's position in the middle. But you can see they can wreak havoc when they're in that ball game together. Mark Bell slid a little bit. Jam. Counted.
Good execution by Western. They actually screened the middleman in the zone that time to create a lane to the basket, and Mark Bell took advantage of it. And again, a nice dish off. Once the little guys get inside the defense, it creates problems.
First two for Hall. You can see all the time left in the first half. Goes to Johnson. Picked up by Western. 2 seconds down to 1. Mee gets it away, and it won't count. We are at halftime in Biloxi, Mississippi, with our score. The Privateers, coached by Tim Floyd, the #1 seed and the #13 team in the nation, leading by only 3 points. Chris Fowler, as we throw it back to you, I can tell you, these are two clubs I'm not sure I'd want to have to face in the first round of the NCAAs.
All right. ESPN's Championship Week is brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
The Mississippi Beach at Biloxi, Mississippi, and about 200 yards out the door from this arena right here. You can walk on the sands. There's a halftime score, 34-31. And Terry Holland, 64% is what the Privateers shot in the first half, but yet they only lead by 3 points. Some strange circumstances there.
Well, it really is, but they played great defense during that stretch. They only gave up 5 points themselves in that time, and give their defense a great deal of credit. But Western Kentucky is forcing some turnovers. They've created 7. They've only turned the ball over twice themselves.
So here are the numbers in the first half. 64% to 45%. Free throws, 33 for Western. Rebounds, huge margin in advantage of the Privateers, and a turnover 7-2. But one number that stands out in that 64% that UNO shot in the first half, they went 6 minutes and 35 seconds without scoring a point. One of the reasons this game is close. Mee pulls up at the free throw line, gets the 10 to roll, and it goes down.
And the shooter's touch.
Mee now in double figures, 10 points for him. Stolen by Western. It's Brown. Pulls up along the baseline, can't get it to go. Got away with a foul. Simon had the rebound, and Garrett will push it up. Garrett left in the first half, and he was conspicuous in his absence for about a 10-minute period. Terry?
Well, and of course Simon and Johnson inside after the 11-minute mark did not score. They had 10 points each going into the first 9 minutes of the half, and did not score in the last 11 minutes. And again, Western Kentucky's defense was geared to keep the ball from being able to go inside, not by sagging, but by putting pressure on the perimeter.
Garrett, good work, and he has it stolen. Little Mark Bell got a hand on it, took it away. Mee for 3, and it's an air ball. He didn't even draw iron on that one. Horn following the rebound in the carom, and another offensive rebound, and Western gets 2.
Well, as Mee went up, he saw his teammate under the basket. He thought, should I pass? Should I shoot? That little bit of indecision, and even a great shooter like Darnell Mee can shoot an air ball.
35-34. Western back on top. Horn now with 7 points in the ball game. Whistle on the foul, and the reason that one was an air ball is Mee caught him on the arm. Now, he doesn't believe it, but that ball was well short.
Well, it's really getting physical inside too, Ron. I was watching away from the ball, and I just had to laugh. The big guys were setting screens, and they just kept pushing on each other. Might have got the elbow as he went up.
2 fouls on Mee. Rennie Mason, 5'9", 197. He is from Shreveport. Started off at Louisiana Tech and transferred. Good look right there at Cephas Bunton, the junior out of Louisville, Kentucky, who will check into the lineup.
We saw the Western trap force a turnover at the first of the half here, and in the first half they forced 2 timeouts with their traps, which is very unusual, Ron.
Well, he's got one left. Knocks this one down, and we're tied again, this time at 35.
To be honest, that third one is the toughest, Ron, after you've missed 2 to go up there and make that third one. So Rennie Mason looks like he's finally got his touch back.
Terry, it's his first point of the ball game, too.
Well, again, the Western Kentucky defense has been very tough on the perimeter.
double spin move, and he is fouled on the way to the hoop. Horn, we've talked about him in the first half, Terry. He's out of Lexington, only a sophomore. He's an English major and a very high GPA. It does good work not only on the hardwoods, but in the classroom.
Well, he had to make 3 moves that time to get free and to draw the foul, because certainly the way Garrett was moving his feet, he wasn't going to get around it.
First team foul of the second half of the Privateers, but it is the 3rd foul on Garrett. We may see an early exit by him as well in this half.
Well, one of the reasons New Orleans substitutes at that spot is to get more offense into the game. They've already got Tony Madison in the game. They may bring Gerald Williams in, of course, for Garrett, which would give him a little more firepower from the perimeter.
9 points for Horn. He's perfect at the free throw line, and it's a 37-35 lead for Western. Madison, they're going to try to trap on him.
And the Western defense is just always there, waiting for you to make a mistake, get the floor a little bit out of balance, hang a pass in the air. They're ready to anticipate.
Ball is tipped and stolen back by the Privateers, tipped by Johnson inside.
He climbed the ladder. He was looking down at that one, just waiting for it to come off the rim so he could stick it back.
Johnson with 12 is his first 2 in the last 12 minutes of play. But you got to credit Rennie Mason. He's the one that made it all happen on the tip away to begin with. Horn, not there for him. Madison will push it up. And Horn just kind of ran him into the sideline. He'll pick up the foul.
Actually, a pretty good play by Horn, because Rennie Mason was all the way down the floor, and if they'd have gotten the basketball to him, he would have made something happen. So you don't want to challenge this far up the court, because it means somebody's going to be open down court if you're not careful. But in this case, go ahead and make the foul, make them take the ball out of bounds, set the defense.
Garrett almost loses a knee all over him as Simon comes way out on top. Madison looks for somebody to throw to. He'll reset it. 16:50 left in the Sun Belt Championship. 37-37. Western Kentucky and the University of New Orleans. Irvin Johnson short on the shot, but he'll go to the line.
And it looks like New Orleans has decided they're going to go ahead and bring Simon up to the high post, put the ball in the middle of the floor, and then try to dump it inside. Good job. This was good to them earlier in the game. They're going back to it now, even against the trapping defenses.
Cephas Bunton will pick up the foul, his first, team's 3rd.
When they can isolate Johnson down there, Western Kentucky does not have anybody nearly big enough to stay with it.
Johnson played a very good first half and yesterday in the semifinals, but he set a long time at halftime. And in the second half, Terry, we noticed he is always very willing to run the floor, but he was not very willing to do it yesterday. You could tell the ankle was bothering him. And for those who joined us late, he had to go under rehab this morning, did not go through the shoot-around, couldn't do it. Ankle was too stiff. Deep in the corner. Bell can't get it to go. Johnson tips it to himself inside, and here comes Simon on the break. Back to Madison. He'll take it the distance, and they'll lose it. Now here comes Western, 2-on-2. Mee says, let's slow it down and set it up. Bell's pass tip. Simon steals. Mason. Garrett from 8, not there. Boy, we're playing racehorse, and nobody's getting any points. And a reach in, and that's going to be a foul on number 32, Darius Hall.
Well, of course, when it's 3-on-2 going one way, it's 3-on-2 going the other way if you don't put the ball in the basket. But again, this is just a reach in here. Just Mark moving his feet, just trying to reach for the basketball.
Good luck at Mark Bell. One of 17 children. He will be the first in his family to receive a degree. Won a state championship at Louisville at Ballard High School. He teamed with Allen Houston at the University of Tennessee. They won it as their junior year, but as their senior year, made it to the championship game, and they lost in the finals that season. But he's had great success every place he's been.
And how about that for a high school backcourt?
Oh,
you
wow.
or I could coach that team.
And look good doing it. Don't put yourself in that category, Coach. Come on. 16 minutes left in the championship, tied at 37. Johnson in the turnaround, a little bit short. Garrett fights for it. Johnson fights for it. Still on the floor, and it'll be off the Privateers. Western Kentucky basketball. Timeout. 15:43 left in the championship final. We are tied in Biloxi. We are tied in the Sun Belt Championship game. 15:43 left in this ball game. Look at this. 2 previous games lost to UNC Charlotte 71-70. Look at the one on the bottom, South Alabama. Harry, that was 1979. And a lot of people say that folks watching that ball game, that there were some people that wanted to influence rules committee. One of the reasons that they talked more about getting a shot clock. 22-20. I don't think I would have enjoyed watching that one.
No, I don't think so. But in this game, there have not been a lot of points scored since the 11-minute mark. And again, the defense is probably responsible for that.
Cephas Button with the jam home for the 2. And that's the first time that Western has scored since the 17:37 mark. He's got 4 points. Bell. There's Mike Gottfried, my football broadcast partner, sitting down. He lives over in Mobile. Big basketball fan, and his brother Joe is the athletic director at South Alabama. Michael is over watching this basketball action. He's quite a hoop fan. About to hit the 15-minute mark.
Well, the action he's seeing inside is reminiscent of some of the games you did this fall.
Well, there are some bodies banging, and there's a whistle, and then Don Rutledge says 3-second violation.
Good idea. There were just too many people in that lane, and something bad was going to happen.
And we have a cut on Johnson, and that's the reason Mike Smith has come over and said that he has to be attended to. Got a cut on his leg.
Quick timeout. They'll have to get that treated, and of course they're going to want him back in the game as soon as possible.
So you can see them at the top of the screen as they go up the tunnel, and the trainer with him. Tim Floyd turns and says, quickly as you can, please. So McDonald checks into the lineup. Michael McDonald, a 6'10 junior.
Western Kentucky sets a lot of screens for Darnell Mee, but they really haven't been able to free him, and right now he's not in the game for them to get free, and they need some offense. They're hanging on to the basketball. The shot clock's down to 15.
Screen out top for Bell. He'll take it in and he'll score. Boy, the fun thing about this ball game, you got 2 little guys out there wearing number 10 opposing each other that are about as tenacious as you're going to find.
Both strong, tough players, and neither one backs off a bit.
8 points for Bell. Simon has it blocked. I believe Cephas Button is the man that got a hand on it.
Well, that ball had no chance to go in, so that's why it was not called a goaltend, although some of the fans are asking for the goaltend. It was below the rim.
(41-37). 4-point lead for Western. Equals their largest. Shooting percentages. Western at 45. New Orleans, they have come down. They hit 64 in the first half. Horn misses on the follow. Darius Hall couldn't get it to go. And it'll be New Orleans basketball.
But again, when you get the penetration, you do have a shot at the offensive boards. That time Darius Hall just couldn't get it down.
Williams for 3. He got it. That could be bad news for Western.
Well, they need to shoot some from the perimeter, and Williams is an excellent shooter. He just doesn't shoot the ball very much from out there.
They've given him 2 points on the hoop or 3. Let's do 3-pointer. That's what I thought. Checking with the official scores. 41-40 our score.
He's only taken 18 this year, but he's 10 for 18, which is 55%. I'm sure Tim Ford would like to see him shoot even more.
Pass and the flash inside. Simon is not very happy. Well, the MAC championship, Niagara and Manhattan tonight, 7:30 Eastern time of championship week. And immediately following the Missouri Valley Championship, Southern Illinois against Illinois State, 9:30 Eastern time. Championship week here on ESPN. Our score, 41-40. Western Kentucky, the underdog in this one, the number 2 seed in the tournament. Leading by 1. Johnson has got the leg bound, and he is back in the lineup. Nice shooter's touch on that one by me. It's a 2-pointer. He was just on the line.
But did you see New Orleans switch the screen there? And Mee had to wait until the big man recovered to his own man. They just got enough room to get it up over Gerald Williams.
Mee now with 12 points. You can see the Western brought the pressure out a little bit further that time. Bouncer into Johnson, takes it up strong, and he'll score.
Well, anytime they put the ball in the middle of the floor against Western, they do put them in a bind, and it's very difficult to get help down there on Johnson.
14 for Irvin. See that left leg just above the knee is bound with the tape.
Staggered screens for Mee that time, but Tony Madison an excellent job of fighting through the screens to take away the shot.
Cut inside. Bell has to put it up over McDonald. Had the intimidation. Blocked inside. Bell will put it back up, and he scores. But a whistle and a foul on the floor. No basket. So there's a timeout on the floor. 1-point game. Western on top. Sun Belt Championship. There's the time and there's the score. Western Kentucky with a 1-point lead right now. Nobody has strayed too far away as far as the lead in this one.
Well, this is about the only thing that either team has found that produces consistent offense, and that's moving one post man up into the high post and then looking for the other one down low in the isolation. And Irvin Johnson is very strong and tough down in the low post.
New Orleans had been shooting 64% in the first half. Terry, it is now down to 42% for them. They're only 3 of 9 in the second half. Western, 43% with that one. They're going to keep moving up. 3-point lead. Madison feeds into Johnson. Soft turnaround, and just not much you can do.
Well, that time Western was in fairly good position to help out. They got people down there, but Johnson did a very good job of turning in a small amount of space to get up and elevate to shoot the turnaround jumper.
He's got 16.
Now Western's going to have to attack the zone here, find a way to get a shot. And they really are having trouble even against the zone of finding a way to get Darnell Mee shots.
See Brown is back in the ballgame inside, working against Johnson. Mark Bell.
Now Mark was asking for the foul as well. He also had Darnell Mee down in the corner who had a 3-point shot as well.
Bell in double figures. Williams in trouble. Gets it across McDonald, and they'll break the press. Madison feeds it off. Mason has it set up in the stands.
And again, Western Kentucky's not very big, but they're so athletic. When they create an open court situation like that, great job of recovering by
Look at Cephas Button. Wow.
He gets this one with his elbow.
He almost caught his head on the glass.
And he knew where he was. You could see him duck right under the board.
Well, to show you how times have changed, that's an area that they put padding. They used to not even think of putting padding up there. 48-44, Western Kentucky on top by 4. Simon in the lineup, big number 32, and he wanted it badly. Also, you can see that Aaron Lesh, number 20, back in the lineup for UNO. Madison all the way, pumps, has it partially blocked. Western Kentucky, Brown kicked in. Here comes Western. Bell feeds for the easy 2. Nice look as Button was there.
That was a heads-up play. Bell can also shoot the 3-pointer, so the defense stopped to see what he was going to do. Button kept running. Oh.
Johnson with the jam at the other end.
But right back at you, and so quickly. UNO does show they can play the running game.
I'm not so sure that they wouldn't be more successful. They were early in this ball game when they controlled it. 18 points for Johnson. Bell takes it inside, off the glass, and unlucky in the bounce there. Here comes Williams pushing it up.
But he pulled a whole defense to it. Gerald Williams is the only guy left on that side of the floor. Had Western had somebody over there, they could have rebounded the ball.
Tony Madison, the junior from Los Angeles, had a bruise above his knee on the thigh yesterday. He is definitely the best of the outside shooters. He has 6. And it is 50-49.
Well, coming into this game, Madison had taken 150 shots, 111 of them were from three-point range. That's what he's in there for, to take the three-pointer.
Ralph Willard stands up and calls a timeout for Western. We'll take it with him. His club up by 1. It's the Sun Belt Championship game. Western Kentucky continues to lead by 1. 8:42 left, Terry.
Well, you know, the one thing that this team does is they like to get the ball down the floor and look for these situations. Great job of freezing the defense there by Mark Bell. University of New Orleans, though, gets it in quickly themselves. And look at these touch passes. Melvin Simon into the middle to Madison, and they're letting them play. That could have easily been a three-point play there, but a good, strong move to the basket by Irvin Johnson.
Here's the situation. 2 timeouts left for Western, only 1 for New Orleans in the ballgame.
And if this remains as close as it is, they may well want those 2 timeouts back that were forced by the defense of Western Kentucky in the first half.
Nice dish inside. Hall lost the handle on it, puts back on the return, and he scores. Yeah, you see it from time to time, but not 2.5. And they force 2 timeouts with good defense. Williams dribbles in to the paint, loses it on the floor. Johnson is down, and it seems to be okay.
Well, we heard Ralph Willard at practice today say that they had forced 3 10-second violations in the first 2 games, and they were going to try to do that again this game. They have not forced those, but they did force the timeouts.
Horn, number 21, back in the lineup. Sophomore from Lexington. Look at Williams working against Bell. Meade gets the screen, and they're going to call the foul against New Orleans. And it looks as though Johnson.
Good job by Western Kentucky here. They move the basketball until Meade finally finds a path to the basket, and he gets in there and draws the foul. He does so many things again for this basketball team. He leads them in scoring, he leads them in block shots, he leads them in rebounding, and he's second in assists. That's one heck of a job for this senior.
2 fouls on Johnson, 4 team fouls. In fact, we gave you the timeouts, 2 for Western, 1 for New Orleans, 4 team fouls apiece with 7:47 left to play. $13 points for me.
Well, let's watch the pressure this time after the made free throw. An ideal time to press, and they go with the full court.
Ball is tipped on the end line and tossed back to me. Western with a steal. Horn for 3. Count it.
That's a big turnover, and when you can convert, particularly for a 3, it takes a lot out of that New Orleans team. They're behind now by 8.
Biggest lead of the ball game for either club. Lesh lost it. Pull-up jumper and count it. Darius Hall with the score. And looking across the way, Tim Floyd has not gotten up. He only has that 1 timeout left.
Very good point, Ron. He's worried right now that he can't take that last timeout, or he would certainly take one right now and talk about what they're going to do. He's going to talk to his team while the ball's dead here. You can be assured of that. Maybe he's not. Maybe he figures they know what to do, and he's saying, go ahead and do it, guys. Let's do what you're supposed to do.
Second foul on Horn. 59-49, a 10-point Western Kentucky lead. Johnson, he may be called for an offensive foul, and yep, that's going to be it. He wanted the basketball so desperately, and I'll tell you, he just knocked Darius Hall all the way out of the paint across the baseline. Watch it.
Well, they're working so hard down low. You're going to get a chance to see how physical it is down here. And he's just pushing back, and finally Darius Hall collapses, and the official has no choice but to call out an offensive foul.
3 fouls on Johnson now. 7 minutes exactly left in this Sun Belt Championship. Tipped away and knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Western. West Coast Championship, Santa Clara, Pepperdine tonight at around midnight Eastern Time on Championship Week. And the Patriot Conference Championship, Holy Cross and Bucknell, Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern Time.
Good job by Ralph Willard here to get Mark Bell a little bit of a blow. He knows how tough this game's going to be down the stretch with almost 7 minutes left. He's going to get Mark Bell in there for the rest of the game very soon, but he's given him a chance to get a little bit of a blow.
Western working the ball nicely. Me inside. missed the shot, but a whistle and a foul. And the reason we held on to the sentence is because Mee went tumbling by our camera and into a table off the end of the floor. He's okay.
Well, Rennie Mason can't do anything here. He's too small, and he ends up bumping Mee as he's up in the air. Definite foul on the defense.
Mason with his first team foul number 6 on New Orleans. Now New Orleans is suffering another one of the droughts right now. Western has scored 10 points in the last 2.5 minutes. The last score for New Orleans is at 9:01. That's 2.5 minutes ago. They went 6:35 in the first half without scoring a point.
And those dry spells hurt, and of course the press produced 5 of those points for Western Kentucky.
Inside, fouled on the floor.
Well, that's not a shooting foul yet, so they still don't have a way to score. Right now, at this stage of the game, you're thinking we've got to find a way to get the ball in the basket or get some points somehow. So we'll take it to the basket, try to draw the foul.
Not in the act of shooting, it was on the floor. Third foul on Mee. And he lost it out of bounds.
Well, we've got an offensive foul on Williams on the drive. And it looks like Western's in good position here. Darren Horn holding position. Well, actually, both of them were there. And Horn was the front man.
Second foul on Williams. 60-49, Western Kentucky. Horn on the long pass. Madison will pick him up, and he'll set it up and try to work some clock here.
And of course, Western practices against the press every day in practice since they press themselves. Sometimes, though, throwing a press at a team that likes to press is a very good move. In this case, they do a good job of getting it over the top to Darren Horn on the fly. Look at the New Orleans perimeter people move their feet on defense. There's just no path to the basket for Western Kentucky. They use the pressure release. They can always throw it to one of the 2 big guys, and that's what they need to do more of, probably, is step those guys out.
They got the mismatch. Mee.
Good move by moving the postman away from the basket. They created some room for Mee to go inside since he wasn't able to get a shot from the perimeter.
Nothing that Mason could do about it, and it was his man. And on the mismatch, they got it there rapidly. Williams for 3. Swishes it. 10-point game with 5:10 left to play.
With Western helping out like they're doing inside right now, you're going to have to make some perimeter shots. And, of course, they count 3 from out there, so you can make up the lead very quickly.
Williams now with 6. Madison knocked it out of bounds, so Western will maintain possession. 28 seconds showing on the shot clock. 4:53 left to play in the ballgame.
Right here, you'd like to be aggressive with the basketball, but you do want to use some time. If the team makes a defensive mistake, you want to take advantage of it. And this is going to put them at the free throw line. And this is where they were so vulnerable yesterday. They had a chance to put the game away and were not able to make the free throws. Good job by Gerald Williams of trying to draw the charge here, but he's just not there. Mark Bell a little too quick and ready to turn the corner.
Tim Floyd pondering what he could do in the final 4:46 to get his ball club back close to even. He is down by 10, and just as Terry Holland said, the bugaboo at the free throw line props up again for Western. He had a chance to take a 12-point lead there. Mee with the block.
And it's an outlet pass. A 4-on-2 break is what that block amounted to. And I think Ralph Willard's saying, back it out, guys. Use some time. We want to score, but we want to be aggressive, but we don't want to take a tough shot.
Oh, but the 10-point lead, even if you use the 45 seconds and don't put up the shots, you still haven't killed yourself.
This does hurt, though. The turnover and the 2-on-1 going the other way. Great job by Mark Bell to break it up. That's just great hustle.
Patriot League Championship, Holy Cross and Bucknell, Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern Time. Part of Championship Week.
Well, this Western Kentucky team does a great job of recovering on defense. They're always chasing from behind, looking for a chance to knock the ball loose or to block the shot, and they've made some big plays in open court situations.
Simon with the turnaround jumper. 62-54. We have just gone under 4 minutes to play.
And that's the first time we've heard from Melvin Simon in a long, long time.
Garrett working against me. Western being very, very deliberate on offense.
Well, Garrett's size against me keeps him from being able to post up, and he's quick enough to stay with him, so that's a good matchup.
14 seconds on the shot clock. You can see the game clock at Bell. Pumps it, blocked by Johnson, and let's see if Johnson has picked up the foul.
Well, both big men went for the block that time, and Mark Bell just got in between the two of them. One of them needs to seal him. The other one needs to go for the block. And he splits the two big guys, and that's a bump. Irvin Johnson definitely hits him with the body trying to get to the ball.
4 fouls on Irvin Johnson. 32, Darius Hall will come into the lineup. Brown will go to the bench. Brian, the senior out of Austell, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. Mark Bell with 11 points today.
But again, the free throws become even more important. And this is a young man who shot 75% from the floor last year. And he is struggling right now to get the ball to go in the goal from the free throw line.
This is where the three-point shot has changed college basketball. Gets this one to go. And we'll take a break. 3:21 left to play. It is a 9-point Western Kentucky lead. There's the score, 63-54, just over 3 minutes to play. Terry Holland, keep in mind that it was New Orleans leading by 3 points in this ball game at halftime, and the big difference in the second half to you has been what?
Well, of course, a great defense, but more than anything else, Western Kentucky has created turnover situations that they've been able to take advantage of, because when you have to go 5-on-5 against either defense, you're not going to score many points, and that's what we've seen in this game.
Tim Floyd right now knows that it's going to take some semi-miracle work if his ball club is going to come back and keep their conference record perfect. 18-0 in the Sun Belt this year. They're 26-2 overall.
Well, they're going to have to play almost flawless basketball down the stretch here. They're going to have to score on almost every possession, and they're going to have to play great defense. And they've played excellent defense during the course of this game, but the defense they play allows Western Kentucky to hang on to the basketball. They may have to gamble. They may have to go with some traps of their own.
The discussion right here is they try to get Madison back in the ball game, but there was no time had gone off the clock, so Lesh had to come back in the lineup. So it's a reason for him being over on the sideline of what Tim Floyd was checking with. Mason with the jumper, swishes it. 63-56. About to go under 3 minutes left in the championship game. 3 points for Mason.
And Tim Floyd was telling his players, pick up full court, guys. The problem is when you're not used to pressing, if those big guys don't get back quickly, the other team may end up with an easy basket. See the isolations that they're creating for players looking for the back door first, and then, of course, giving the basketball to me and to Mark Bell for one-on-one situations from the wing spot.
Bunton comes out on top to set the high screen. Horn finds himself open. And a foul called away from the ball.
Well, again, players are working so hard. Melvin Simon can't catch him. He just reaches out to grab him as Darren Horn comes off the screen.
4 fouls on Simon now. He did. He grabbed him and away from us. We were obscured by his body, but he did. He just took that right arm and held on.
He was late on the switch and realized it and said, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be guarding you. So he tried to grab Darren Horn and pull him back to him.
So both of the big people have 4 fouls, and with 10 team fouls, Western now with the luxury of the 2 shots. New Orleans shot 64% in the first half. Their shooting has dropped off to 47. And for Western, they are at 53% for the game. Williams takes it in deep, has it partially blocked. Cephas Button got a piece of it, and now Western not in any kind of hurry at all as we're about to go to the 2-minute mark to push this one up.
Well, with a 9-point lead and only 2 minutes to play, the clock is their enemy. They really want to control the basketball, and I think they've done a great job of continuing to attack the basket. They're not backed out to midcourt like many teams do in this situation. They're forcing New Orleans to play great defense. Now they stretch the floor as they begin to set up the play as the clock runs down. Calls for the fist, get the screen up on the top.
5-second violation. Don Rutledge says 5.
Well, he ruled that he was closely guarded for a full 5 seconds. I think Mark Bell felt that he had created enough of a gap there that the count had to be off.
Johnson with the turnaround. Count it.
What an athletic move for a big guy. The spin, a full 360, and still on balance enough to stick in the short jumper.
7-point game. They try to trap on me in the backcourt, and he'll go to the line.
Darnell Mee, normally a 70% free throw shooter, but again, since Western Kentucky needs these so badly, I know that Ralph Willard is holding his breath and saying, come on guys, let's make the free throws and control the game down the stretch. We need to play with confidence as we go into the NCAA tournament, which they can be an automatic qualifier by winning this game.
Sports Center, Robin Roberts, who is right here from this area, and Charlie Snyder. Kenny Anderson out for the season. Ronnie Lott to the New York Jets. And Shaq versus Patrick. All of that and more in Sports Center.
He put it up there nice and soft, but even Darnell Mee doesn't get the shooter's roll on the free throw.
66-58. Ralph Willard's ball club 1 minute and 13 seconds from capturing the championship at a trip to the tournament. And Terry, I know you're on the committee, and were they a lock, do you think, had they not won this ball game?
Well, nobody's a lock today. You know, you really have to wait and see what happens in the tournaments around the country. But certainly Western Kentucky is very happy that they don't have to sit at home next Sunday and wait to see what happens.
But with New Orleans, they're going to lose it, but they're 26-3 or will be. And I would have to think, and not putting words in your mouth, but at 26-3, you would certainly have to think that his ball club is going to be at the big dance as well.
Well, I think Tim Floyd feels confident, but he would again like to get that automatic qualifier, and then you don't have to wait for Sunday.
You know, waiting for Sunday could be a long time.
I've sat there many a time, and you sit there and you say, well, does the committee know this about my basketball team? Do they know that? And the only thing I can say to you is that the committee does have a lot of information at their fingertips, and the NCAA does a great, NCAA staff does a great job of providing that information.
You still want to send them notes, don't you?
I try to every year.
10-point ball game. Williams inside. Here's the lob pass, and Button showtime here. It will be Western Kentucky as the fans who have journeyed down here from the Commonwealth are beginning their celebration. Three-pointer from Madison, but too little too late.
And in this second half, the defense of Western Kentucky has been phenomenal. They've also created some offense with their defense, which is the one thing they were not able to do in that first half.
Well, most people, because of what happened during the regular season, had thought that New Orleans, being close to home, would come over here and win again over Western. But boy, Terry, how many times have you had yourself or seen in basketball where you have to play a club a third time and you just don't want to do it, do you? Because you know what could be at the end.
Well, it's really tough. You know each other so well, and even during the course of this game, you can watch these coaches make adjustments. If a team was taking advantage of a particular thing in their offense, Tim Floyd was doing a great job of getting the ball inside to his big men. Ralph Willard made an adjustment. Then Tim Floyd made an adjustment to enable him to get the ball back inside again. But on this particular day, Western Kentucky was the better team.
Irving Johnson with the score, but as the clock runs down to his 22 points, he'd gladly give them all for a victory in this one to win the conference championship tournament.
Well, it's really difficult to press either one of these teams. They handle the ball so well at every spot. And, of course, the press finally did break the New Orleans team a little bit there when Western Kentucky was able to get that spurt and take the 9- to 10-point lead.
Melvin Simon fouls out of the game. He has 12 points. Make no mistake about one thing. After having watched the semifinals yesterday and now the championship game here today, should both of them make it, and I think they will, I wouldn't want to have to play either one of these clubs because they possess more talent than maybe you had figured if you have not seen them play in person.
Well, both of these are quality basketball teams. You think about it. Western Kentucky went up to Louisville and won on Louisville's home court. This is a very, very fine basketball team.
And they're already anticipating with the NCAA logo in the back of that shoe. Horn with the outlet pass. Under 10 seconds now, and the celebration will begin. I imagine that there's a little celebration beginning up in the state of Kentucky as well. And finally, Ralph Willard has turned, and he is smiling and hugging his players on the sideline as they know that it has become real. They have defeated the University of New Orleans for the Sun Belt Championship 72-63.
Well, again, both of these coaches have done an excellent job with these teams all season long. They both know how important this game was to each. And Tim Floyd congratulating both Ralph Willard and the whole team, the Western Kentucky team.
So for that gentleman, Ralph Willard, as he heads to the locker room, a bright, sunshiny day here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And right now, he probably thinks it's even a little brighter because he's about to walk 30 feet away and pick up a trophy. That means he's headed to the NCAA Tournament. And it also means that he has defeated a ball club that had only 2 prior defeats coming into this one tonight. And that's saying a great deal.
And that's what it's all about. And that's why tournament basketball is so much fun. But again, these teams know each other so well. You know, it was almost like you were watching 2 fighters out there. One would throw a punch, the other would counter punch. A great job of coaching.
Well, we were told in this tournament that these players care a great deal for their head coach, and I think you could see it there as Ralph Willard got a little trip on the shoulder. 72-63, Western with an upset win. They are the Sun Belt Championship. For Terry Holland, Ron Franklin saying good night from Biloxi. Sports Center is next.